My brothers and sisters in Islam and in humanity at large, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. May peace, blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be upon all of us. Today with this seminar, I'm going to share on how to purchase a residence or how to buy a house in the United States, especially in California, which should be interest-free. But I like to point out one thing, and that is a disclaimer. What I did my research is based on AMJA, AMJA or AMJA.com. You can Google the website, which means Assembly of Muslim Jurists of America. My research is based on them, and it's not my personal view. If you have any comments, any interjection, any concern, any question, you can call them, you can refer to them. Because I did that with Dari, Afghan Persian, and I did receive a lot of positive comments. At the meantime, I did receive some negative comments, and I told them that no, it's not me, it's Amja. So you can contact them. And that's why I like to have this disclaimer at the beginning, so we don't face any confusion. Now, what Amja did is they categorized all those financial institutions that helped you buy a house into three different categories. Category number one is the one which is 100% halal and pure. Category number two or second category is those which is generally speaking they are in the Islamic Sharia, but they do have some violations. So with the fatwa or the guidance of Amja, they said if you are not in need or if you are not in dire need of buying a house, then you don't have to do business with them. So this way you can save your faith. But if you are in dire need, then yeah, you can do with this second category as well. And the third category is traditionally interest-based financial institutions. Even from the first day, you may write down some percentage of the interest and these things, so you don't have to do them. It's forbidden. Now, first and second. So the first one is Amin Housing. Since we are living in California, Amin Housing is one of their examples, and I personally have read the fatwa, the guidance. So it's Amin Housing. The second one, or the second category, is Guidance Residential, Devon Bank, University Islamic Channel, or others. And the third one, Ijara Loan, or the third category is Ijara Loan, Lariba, or others. Now, the remaining portion of the seminar is just focusing on Amin Housing, but if you're not resident of California, you are living, let's say, New York or other states, then you can try, and inshallah, you may find some of the institutions that is same like Amin Housing, 100% pure and halal, based on the ulama and religious scholars of that particular state or district, or wherever it is. So with Amin Housing, I have been to their website, aminhousing.com, and I found out, I've read all their documents. It took me 3 entire days. Amin Housing was founded in 1996, and it's being run by volunteer board of directors. They're not being paid, and they're not looking for salary. They're just doing this for good reward or for sawab. For those brothers and sisters who are in need of a house, they have kind of planned a very good thing, how to get them a house. So now over here, and I like to also mention that I personally am not related to any financial institutions. I don't work for any of them, with no exception. So I'm just doing this for sawab, for good reward. If all of our brothers and sisters, they like the video, so please use it and share with other brothers. If some of them have comments or questions or whatever, or even debate, they can contact Amja. It's not me, it's them. Now, Amin Housing, as I said, first point, it's being run by volunteer board of directors. That's number one. Number two, if you like to get membership, so the membership fee it's $100 and it's non-refundable. It's non-refundable. So once you get the membership, then you can participate in election. Every year they have election, and you can run for a position, and you can vote for a position, whichever you like. So let's say once you are done with the membership, if you like to take the second step, that is minimum halal investment or minimum Islamic investment. And with this one, the minimum payment is $2,000. Is $2,000. So now with this one, once you invest, each quarter of a year, let's say 4 times per year, they show you the profit or the loss. Let's say January, February, March, 3 months are passed. That's the first quarter of the year. Then you have to wait 65 days, and this 65 days, they will give you a notice. They will let you know whether you gain some money or you lost some money, profit or loss. So that is called the dividend. So let's say you are receiving the dividend and you like to step in and you like to go to the third step. I mean, I do know that a lot of brothers and sisters, they are just doing Islamic or halal investment to gain some money, for sure, in Islamic way, in a halal way. At the meantime, they're trying to help other brothers and sisters who don't have a house and they need to have at least one house. So they are trying to help them. So their money goes toward the investment to buy them house. And now the way how this dividend is come from, we are going in details, inshallah, in that. And there's one more point I like to mention, that if you have your money in a bank, that is, let's say, checking account, you don't get any profit from that, right? So it's good to invest over here. If you're putting your money into in saving account, so over there they may give you some profit, but those are interest based. You know, and I know those are all interest based transactions. So you are giving some profit, or let's say you are given some money, but those are interest-based transactions, so that's not in a halal way. But this way, once you put your money, you invest your money, inshallah, you will get profit, not lost. Even if it's lost, that is still fine, because that's Islamic way of investment. But inshallah, a lot of time you may receive the profit, and that's pure money, and that's halal money. So somebody did this one and this one, I mean the membership and the investment. Now, if you don't have a home, if you don't have a house, and you like to buy a house only one time, so do not have home, only one home. That means that if you don't have a house, you can ask Amin Housing to buy you a house, and that should be only one house, not second, not third. But if you already have, then they don't buy you a house. You are just done with the first and with the second step, and that's all for you. For those who don't have a house, they can go for the third, which is buying a house. Now over here, you can sign up, you can put your name through their forms, and for AL, which is active list. Active list means if you like to put your name for buying a house, that means that your name should go to AL, active list. I'm just giving you an example. Let's say 2,000 people, they paid $100 and they took the membership. Now out of this 2,000 people, only 1,000 of them, they paid 2,000 or 3,000 or 5,000 or 100,000 or 1 million or even more. So they also go into the investment. Now out of this 1,000 who put with the membership and with the investment, let's say 73 people, they have their names on the active list. And you are the next one. You like to put your name on the list so you can be there for buying a house. So you are the 74th, right? So 2,000 people for membership, only 1,000 of them invested money. Now 73 people came on the active list. They have put their name to buy a house. We are clear, inshallah, until this moment. Now let's go further. What's next? So you are on the active list after membership and halal investment. It's there. Now, let me make clarification on here. When you have your money and you receive the dividend per quarter, as I said, so after you put your name on the active list and you are there and you're close to the top of the list, until that time you get the dividend per 3 months. But once you're on the top of the list, then the dividend or the investment stops, and they take your money and put it for the 20% of the house, and they pay the 80% of the house, and then they buy you a house. So the dividend goes on until your name is on top of the list. Once it's on the top of the list, then it stops. It automatically stops, and then you're the one who buys a house. So your money directly goes to the 20% of your own ownership percentage, and the remaining 80%, Amin Housing will pay. Now here's the thing. You were 74, and other people, one is number 1, number 2, number 3, until number 73, but you were 74. They buy the house for number 1, so you are 73. They buy the house for the second person, you are 72. They buy for the third, then you are 71. And that way you goes up to the top of the list. But if you pay, well, there's only one more point, which is here, number 6. Once you tell them that I want my name on the active list, I want to buy a house. At that point, you have to pay $50,000, or you have to pay, say, 10% of the house that you are buying. So 10% or 50,000, whichever is less. Again, whichever is less. I personally have read the regulation, and it's on the 6th page, that whichever is less. So let's say you are buying a house for 100K, then you are paying only 10%, which is what? Which is $10,000. Or you're buying a house for 400K, then you are paying, let's say, the 10% is $40,000, or you can pay the $50,000. But again, 10% or 50,000, whichever is less. That's one. Now the second thing is, once your name get to the top of the list, let's say there is 2 people ahead of you and you are number 3rd. Now they will give you a notification through email or mail, and they will let you know, hey, Mr. Ahmad, you are number 3, you are the 3rd person, and there's just 2 people ahead of you. Once they are done, you are on top of the list. So please let us know if you are financially and non-financially ready to buy a house. If you are, then you can let them know by email or mail. If not, then you can notify them and tell them that, hey, can you postpone my number for 6 months or so, because I'm not in good condition financially or non-financial, or for whatever reason I'm not good, so please postpone my number. Now let's say once you're on top of the list and you are number 1, you have already paid 50,000 or 10%, again, whichever is less, but you are going to pay the remaining 10% as well. So you are the owner, you become the owner of 20% of the house. So 20% while on top of AL, or active list. Now we are okay on that. Now let's come to the 7th point. At the beginning, when you put your name on the active list, and as I said, 50,000 or 10%, but let's say even from that point, you like to pay the 15%. If you like to pay the 15%, you are number 10, and that's in the regulation of Amin Housing, page number 6. I personally have read that. So if you are paying 15%, you are number 10 on AL, on the active list, from very beginning, from the first day. But if you are paying the 20% from the very beginning, from the very first day, again, it's on page 6 of the regulation, you are number 5 on the active list. So you just have 4 people ahead of you. But if you're just paying the 10% or the 50,000 and you're going with normal, speed, then that's okay. You can wait until you get to the top of the list. Now the next thing is that once you are the 3rd person, they will send you notification on 3rd of AL, on 3rd of active list. They will tell you, hey Ahmad, you are number 3. Please be notified and let us know if you are ready or not. So you are that. Then if you are ready, you will tell them, yes, I'm ready. You will pay, once you're on top of the list, number 1, you will pay $5,000 for their paperwork admin fee. You will pay Amin Housing $5,000 for their paperwork admin fee. Now we are clear on that. Now come to the point number 9. Once they tell you, okay, which type of house you want to buy, because at the beginning when you put your name on the active list, there is a form, and you will let them know that this is the minimum that I can afford and this is the maximum. Let's say I can afford the minimum 200,000 and the maximum is, let's say, 300,000. So this is the range of the value or the price that I can afford. So you pay them the 20%. Now over here, once you go to a realtor, or you find a house yourself, you buy it, or you talk to the owner, the seller, and then you call Amin Housing and you let them know that, hey, I have picked a house here, I have choose, so I need you to come here and buy this house for me. Once you're done with that, and they come and they see the price or the value of the house, if it's worth it with that price range, they buy and they give you the keys, and you are now the 20% the owner, and they are the 80% or owner. Or if you pay more money, then you are more than 20% for whatever percentage it is. You are the owner and they are the remaining percentage owner, and you are the one who is living in his or her own house. At the meantime, he's paying or she's paying the percentage that he doesn't own. Now, they give you the 7% discount, and the reason for discount is, for this 7% discount, as I said, when AMJA provided their, when AMJA issued their fatwa or the guidance, and they said Amin housing is now 100% pure and halal, the way they did is, at the beginning there were one or two small things that ulama or religious scholars told Amin housing to fix that up. One of those things were that if somebody don't pay his rent on time, you charge them $50, and that's not a good thing. Or if somebody is going to do a maintenance something to be fixed and he pays $50, $10, $100, you don't pay him. So Islamically, that's not a good way, because you own you share the house 80% and he shares 20%, so there should be something in place. That's why they said, well, we cannot do calculation with all 2,000 or 1,000 or 100 members who purchased the house. So that way we give them 7% of discount so they can fix those small things. That's why that's the scenario behind why they give you the 7% discount. Now that's one. Number second, every month when you are paying the rent of the house, and we come to that inshallah in a bit, you will pay 75 admin fee to Amin Housing, and that just go directly to Amin Housing for the doing your paperwork every month. So that's not going to your principal or to your asset. Now, with the rent, you have to pay $100 for asset increase. That means that you are increasing your asset, your percentage, so you have to pay $100 extra every month with the rent, so your percentage goes up. That's the minimum, but you can pay 1,000 extra, you can pay 5,000 extra. The amount that you can pay. So your percentage gets increased. Now, let's say they buy a house for 100,000. And you are the owner of the 20%, which is $20,000, and they are the owner of 80%, which is $80,000. Now the rent of the house coming to that, Amin Housing appraises, and they say, well, the rent of this house is, for example, let's say $1,200. I'm just giving you an example, $1,200. But you are going to a realtor, and the realtor should be a licensed realtor. And he or she evaluates the rent of the house, and based on his or her, realtor's finding, the rent of the house should be, for example, it should be $800. So based on the regulation of Amin Housing, they take the average, not $1,200, neither $1,200 nor $800. So it should be $1,000. That's the average, and that's what they put there. So rent appraisal each 2 years they will do the rent appraisal. It should be by a licensed realtor, and the average will be taken. So they will decide something, you will decide by a realtor something, then they will take the average. But you should take them a paper by a licensed realtor to show them that this is the rent of the house. So they take the average. Now let's say the average rent of the house is 1,000, and every month you are paying 1,000 for your rent, where 200 is going to your principal and 800 is going for them for the first month. You are paying 75, which totally goes to them, and you will also pay 100 for your asset increase. So now you paid for the first month $300, that increase your percentage for the second month, right? So now with the first month you were the 20% owner, now you are a little bit more than 20%. Or let's say if you had 1,000 or 2,000 extra money, let's say you paid 2,000 extra money, so now you are 22% plus owner, and they are 77% plus owner, but they came down from 80% and you go up from the 20%. I hope you're clear until this point. Now let's go down and see what's next. So it says, okay, once we are done until this, you pay off this house in 1 year, in 10 year, in 20 year. It's totally up to you. You don't have to rush, but if you like to rush, that's your own, your own kind of struggle to do that, to just pay off, and it's your own, it becomes your own 100% property. So if you're doing that, that would be good. Now let's say you paid off in 1 year or in 20 years, whatever you like, it's done. And you like the deed, you like the documents of the house to be on your own name. The representative of Amin Housing is coming to the area and see what is the value of the house now. Because when they bought the house, it was 100K, but now it's, let's say, 110,000, or it's 90,000. it should be increased, or it should be decreased, or it should be the same. If it is the same, then you are the owner. But if it is decreased or increased, what would happen? Once they done appreciation and depreciation value, whether the cost or the value of the house went up or down, then Amin Housing is the receiver or the payer of the 30%, and you are the receiver or the payer of 70%. Which simply means that if it is 110,000 now, so you have to pay them 3,000 more, because the $10,000, the value which went up, now you are the 70% of the owner. You are receiving the 70%, which is $7,000, and they are receiving the $3,000. But if the price or the value goes down, let's say it's $90,000, so with the 10,000 that you both have lost, you are again the 70%, and they are the 30% owner. So they have to pay you, not you are paying to them. They have to pay you $3,000, and they give the documents of ownership to you, and you are the owner. So that's why I put ownership documents, then you are the owner. Now let's say we are done with this. There are some of the points that needs to be mentioned. No rent while shared. That simply means that when you are in partnership with Amin Housing, you cannot rent this house to anybody else. As far as you have not paid the full amount and it's not your property, you cannot rent. The second point is that if there is a low cost maintenance or high cost maintenance. With the low cost maintenance, as I said, with the 7% discount, you are the one who is paying for the low cost maintenance. Let's say electricity socket or something is something needs to be fixed, and that costs you $10, $20, or $15 or $50. You are the one who pays that. That's why you are receiving 7% of discount. And they said that we are volunteer people. We cannot count for every single partner separately. That's why they're paying you the 7% discount. But the thing is that if it is a high cost maintenance, it costs you $100, $200, $2,000 or whatever, then you can let them know. They can send somebody to fix, or they will authorize you to fix on a third party, and then you will pay to that, and then you will get a bill of charges and send it to Amin Housing, and they will approve to you, and they will add that money to your asset, or they may pay you. But perhaps they may add that money that you have paid for the maintenance to the asset of your ownership, and that your percentage goes up. So that's one. Now there are some restrictions. Again, there are some restrictions you have to know. First thing is that Amin Housing is only working in California. They're covering California, not all 58 counties of California, but only 18 counties of California, 18. So that's why one of the restrictions, I will come to that, is that only 18 counties of 58 counties of California. But the other restriction is that Amin Housing is buying you only the townhouse or single family house. They don't go for anything else. They don't go for a condominium or condo or whatever else you have in your mind, or apartment or nothing. They just do the single family house or the townhouse, one of these two. That's the first restriction they have. The second, the maximum money they can pay for your house is $800K, $800,000. They don't go beyond that. But if it's under that, that's good. Now the third restriction, as I made mention of, was the 18 counties of California, not all 58 counties, and they don't have coverage to other states yet. So if you're residing in other states, you can find other financial institutions or other volunteer institutions like Amin Housing over there, which is perfectly working based on your preferences. So my brothers and sisters, once again, it was my personal research, my personal understanding. I'm not related to any of financial institutions, with no exception. And I still like to say that the disclaimer, I'm just sharing what I have learned based on AMJA. If any of our brother or sister is not agree, or they like to debate or they like to have any interjection, something, please contact AMJA, not me. Thank you so much, and I want you to share this video with other brothers and sisters who are in need of such a program, so this way you can get the reward, and inshallah we all get the reward. Thank you so much. You have a nice time.